All right, welcome back to another episode of the Karter Cast. I'm your host, Karter Baughan. With me, as always, Connor Dillon. Today's show, we're going to just briefly recap last weekend's games, the divisional round games, and then we'll get into the AFC, NFC title games. It's really sad to say that statement right now. Like, you're sitting there, we have 4 teams left in football. We have 3 games left of football. It's a really sad time right now, Dylan.
It's, I was doing the live show yesterday, and I was doing a little bit of prep. I was like, what am I going to talk about? Like, there's nothing to talk. You can recap the games. You have 2 games to talk about, to be completely honest with you. I don't really have any takes on either of the games. It is very sad, and I'm excited for summer. I'm excited for baseball, but I know come June, July, I'm going to be like, where's football? I'm hoping they drop the second edition of quarterback to kind of feed the fix a little bit, but I don't know. It's sad, man. College football's over. Sad times.
I'm ready for college basketball, Dylan.
I might get into it. I don't know.
You will.
We'll see.
You will.
Like,
yeah,
I'll be honest.
Another choice.
You're going to be so desperate without football.
You would think, but I'm having a good time with golf. You know, the cricket T20 World Cup starts in June, and it's here in the States. I might go watch it in person.
Where's it at?
New York.
Not worth it.
Yeah, probably not. You probably just walk in though. All you have to do is pay for a hotel and flight, and they'll be giving away tickets out at the gate.
Yeah,
they're on the street. Yeah. There's one of those kiosks. Like, do you like cricket? Have you heard of this new sport? Come to the United States. Nah,
it shoving everybody in one side of the stadium to make it look like it's packed for the TV.
Yeah, they're telling the TV producers, like, do not show the other side. Yeah. It feels like we were just analyzing, like, in August, like, ooh, Ravens preseason. Let's see, Tyler Huntley, how's he going to look? Like, the Ravens haven't lost in the preseason, and now here we are in the conference championships.
I was really thinking yesterday, too, back to our post-Super Bowl show last year, and just how sad it is. Like, it's just all over. I know you guys have college basketball, but
it's still very sad, though.
Oh, 100%. Just knowing that it's all over, and I was watching it, and I said that I would bet the Cardinals to win the Super Bowl on the look ahead. that ended up coming. That was pretty bad.
The poor, the wives and girlfriends are like, we're almost there. They're in the final home stretch. There's like, yep, we almost got them. We're almost done with football.
Abby has said a lot the past week. She wants to be on an episode.
I've gotten that same request.
Her tune has flipped a little bit with regards to that. My stepdad even asked her when we visited last week, like, why aren't you ever on the show? And she's like, well, I try to sneak in there and give him drinks and stuff while he's in there. Wow, I didn't know you wanted to be on. She'll send me stuff sports related on Instagram, and she'll be like, I send you this stuff so you can bring it up on the show. I don't know if you guys have experienced that.
Okay, this is what we do. We have them on during the Pro Bowl week. We have them preview games, but they don't realize there's no games that weekend. It's just the Pro Bowl.
The skills competitions. Who's going to win passing accuracy competition?
Yeah, that's what you have to do next weekend, right? It's just tell them, like, hey, I'm not going to watch football this weekend. Like, this is our time, blah, blah, blah. And then you win a little points there,
Well, you see, I've almost, I don't mean this in a bad way, but I've almost created a monster because she knows there's no football next weekend.
Yeah, that's the same thing.
Like
she's downloaded the Score app to be like, oh, so Duke's playing tonight, so you're not going to talk to me after they lose.
So we're not going out to dinner tonight. Yeah,
yeah,
they're the real MVPs.
Yeah, but before we recap games, I have an announcement. I have a little something to say.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Sponsorship. Swig.
We're brought to you by... This episode of the Karter Cast is brought to you by SeatGeek.
No way.
Use code KarterCast at SeatGeek to get $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Download the SeatGeek app today for all your sports, concerts, whatever tickets you need. Go to SeatGeek right now. $20 off. KarterKast for your first purchase, $20 off at SeatGeek. It's nice. SeatGeek, it's the best way to get tickets because they're the official reseller, the official ticket supplier now of so many venues like the Delta Center in Salt Lake for Utah Jazz. If you're going to a Jazz game, you have to have SeatGeek anyways. Download it. You're going to a Jazz game. You're like, oh, Jazz Hornets sounds like a good time. get $20 off your first purchase. Use code CarterCast right now on SeatGeek today. Use code CarterCast, KarterKast. Download the SeatGeek app today.
Love SeatGeek. Going to see the Stardew Valley Orchestra. Anybody familiar with Stardew Valley?
No.
Oh my gosh. Look it up and you'll be like, Dylan, why are you playing this game? Literally, just they're going to play music from the game. I'm going. I use SeatGeek to buy the tickets. Also,
there you go.
Hopefully Abby's not watching. I think I'm going to get her tickets to see Kenny Chesney in Columbus, and I'm going to use SeatGeek for Valentine's.
There you go.
And what code are you
CarterCast?
I'm going to use CarterCast. KarterKast.
Boom. Use code CarterCast
that.
today. And all right, let's get into today's episode. Let's recap some games, fellas. Let's recap some games. Bills Chiefs.
Let's do it.
What a game that was. That was an all-timer. I mean, you're watching the game. Like, first half was awesome, back and forth. You know, as someone who was backing the Chiefs, I was getting very nervous because there was 2 drives in there where the Bills were just bullying them. I was like, this is over. James Cook, Josh Allen, they can do whatever they want. It's 5-9 yards a carry every play. Second half was just one of those vintage NFL playoffs. It was just perfect quarterback play. It was just unbelievable. Dylan, talk about this game real quick.
I would have thought if you would have told me the Bills lost this game, I would have said it would have been off the back of Josh Allen turnovers. Both guys took care of the ball extremely well. Very good game. Coming off of this game, do you guys think there's a conversation to be had about Josh Allen and the Bills? Josh Allen's cap hit goes up to like $46 million next year. What do you think? I've heard murmurs that maybe it's time to move on from Josh Allen. What do we think in Buffalo? Yeah, I've heard that.
No.
I've heard talks because
that's the dumbest thing in the world.
People are saying that Mahomes is the guy in the AFC. Like there is, I don't know. I was watching mostly sports and they got me all riled up because I think it's all insane. You know how I feel. The nature of football, there's winners, there's losers. It's just how it pans out. And maybe we can talk about that later. But in terms of the game, great game. The Bills run is over, which really stinks. But we talked about it last week. The Chiefs are going to turn it up in February. They're going to turn it up in January. It's just what they do. Travis Kelce is back to getting involved. He actually looked competent. Lots of things to take away from this. But the Chiefs are looking – I would hate to be the Ravens. The Chiefs are looking like vintage Chiefs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's fair. You can't – but the thing about Josh Allen, cap hit, sure, but he's a hands down, no question, a top 3, or if you want to really argue, top 4 quarterback in the league. Who do you replace him with? Like, who do you replace him with? And you can't go around saying, like, oh, Mahomes is the guy in the AFC, so I'm going to run to the NFC. All it takes is one bad season, or Mahomes tweaks an ankle, or there's another up-and-coming rising star in the NFC that takes over, and then you're just move conference for no reason.
Or Travis Kelce retires. You know, it could be any of those things.
I think that there's, in all seriousness, situation-wise, there are parallels to be drawn between the Bills of the last 4 years and the Cowboys of the last 4 years, you know, getting to the playoffs, not having that playoff success. Now, the Bills have won playoff games, right? I think the Cowboys have struggled more, but it's really the same thing. Both teams haven't had that breakout. The Cowboys, there's constant conversation about the coach getting fired, Dak not being the guy. Buffalo, you would have to think that the same conversations are going to ensue. And maybe it's a McDermott thing. I don't know.
No. It was the receivers. It was Stephon Diggs was the issue. He was terrible. I mean, you got to catch one of those passes. There was a stat. Shakir has more yards than him in the last, I think it was like 6 games or 8 games or whatever. It's like Shakir has 53 less targets than Stephon Diggs and has more yards. Like that's how bad it is. Stephon Diggs has got to go. That's patient zero. He's got to go.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't either. There's clearly some kind of disconnect. Like when you see it on the sidelines last year, or even this year, like for whatever reason, him and Josh Allen, they just aren't on the same page. And that's what it is. And if you're Josh Allen, he played a damn near perfect football game. If you're talking about like an actual like playoff game, no bad turnovers, no bad interceptions. He was running guys over. He had 12 carries for 72 yards, 2 scores. He was doing everything you wanted in a playoff game from a quarterback like that in a hard fought game. Running the ball, throwing the ball, and there was no bad turnovers that you would expect from a typical Josh Allen game. He's been good the last few weeks.
And Stephon Diggs dropped a potential game-winning touchdown. Like, that play could change the whole trajectory of the Bills franchise, but Diggs didn't catch it. So what are you gonna do?
And as much as overtime has haunted the Bills against the Chiefs, Josh Allen can't control a 44-yard missed field goal. Like, I think if they go to overtime, I really think the Bills pull that out in overtime.
But the problem is they weren't going to overtime. There was going to be a minute 40 left. The Chiefs still had a timeout, and
they were going the other way, the non-wind away on the field.
The Chiefs were destroying the Bills' defense. They were going to get a 35-yard field goal to win that game, and it was going to be over right there.
Yeah. I was watching that kick. I saw the flags. The flags were all blowing one way, and I was like, this kick has to start on the left goalpost.
Yep.
And it started on the right one, and right when it came off his foot, I was like, there's no shot.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Even tragic. Even when you're watching it, though, it's like, if you're a Bills fan, it's like, would you almost be happy he missed that because you knew Mahomes was going to come down and beat you in like a heartbreaking fashion? Like, I know you're not, like, you want him to make it, but you kind of knew what you're going to get if he did make that field goal.
I do want to say, people, this is going to be a bad take, but why isn't Buffalo building a dome? Maybe like these cold weather games, maybe this is hurting them. Maybe, hey, let's play in a dome. You probably make that field goal in a dome 10 times out of 10.
But I think you have to think over. You don't have the issue
of postponing games usually. I mean, you probably do because you're getting to the stadium and back. So, but I mean, that loss in the game is the elements.
But I'm sure you could go back in time and find an instance where it worked to their advantage, where the team that they were playing was kicking a field goal. I also think when you're playing a team like Kansas City, it's not much of an advantage. But let's say Miami had beat Kansas City. I think at that point, having no dome is an advantage for Buffalo if a team like Miami comes up and plays. So I get what they're doing. Now, the postponing games after being on record saying you want the elements to be a part of the process of playing in Buffalo is a little odd. I understand there's a safety concern about actually getting to the game last week, or I guess 2 weeks ago. But Buffalo, I think Buffalo, no dome in Buffalo. You got to let the snow fall.
Yeah, that would be kind of depressing.
This might be a dumb question. Is that solely up to like can they just decide like when they renovate a stadium or build a new stadium, like, hey, we want a dome? Like, there's no governing outside rules.
They just decide paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
there's no way the Buffalo Bills owner is paying for a new stadium.
No. Those fans are going to be out there shoveling snow for the next 50 years. Let's be honest.
They're going to be building the stadium.
Yeah, like fans, we're recruiting fans brick by brick. Help build your Bills a new NFL stadium this year.
Yeah, we'll pay you $10 an hour and give you free Little Caesars.
Yeah,
great deal
on the job site. Yeah,
great deal. Yeah, I'll take that deal. Anything else from this Chiefs-Bills game? It was just a matter of two great quarterbacks, and Mahomes was the better quarterback. I think that's what it really came down to. Also, Chiefs, stop using Mecole Hardman in big spots. Stop. Connor was texting us the whole time. How do you keep giving the ball to Mecole Hardman in this game? He proved he can't be in this game. He was fumbling the ball multiple times. He was making bad decisions. Don't let him have the ball. Give that ball to Isaiah Pacheco or Clyde Edwards-Helaire, anybody else besides Mecole Hardman, and you're probably fine.
That's the thing. Kelsey had,
that game would have been done and dusted. All you had to do was just pound it in.
Kelsey had 2 scores. One of them was pretty short. Pacheco was, 15 for 97. He was just dominating the line of scrimmage. But, I've heard people say it. These offense coordinators, they get too cute. And I heard a good take earlier, I think it was on Twitter, somebody was like, the Philly special ruined play calling near the goal line because everybody's trying to get the next Philly special and make that next trick play or be like, oh, he's not going to be expecting this. We're not going to run it 2 or 3 yards up the middle. Instead, we're going to do a double reverse lateral handoff to our punt return to Mecole Hardman. And we'll get them all. And they'll be like, oh, Chris Collinsworth. Oh, what a great trick play. Oh, did you see that?
But the Philly special did win us the more money line parlay last year with Zach Wilson. So it's like.
It did.
We can't get too mad at it.
That's fair. But yeah, I don't know. They got too cute with that. Mecole Hardman, when it's like that late in the game to go to a conference championship, just give the ball to your best players. It's like in college basketball or the NBA. It's like, get the ball in your best players' hands, make them make a play. I don't know. The whole sweep reverse thing, I don't know. And we knew this game was going to be stupid. We knew there was going to be dumb stuff both ways. Missed field goals, turnovers, fumbling out of the back of the end zone. Like, just a classic Bills-Chiefs game.
Do we think DeMar Hamlin knows that they vote for comeback player of the year after the regular season?
Do we think Sean McDermott knows that? Might be the better question.
I've seen murmurs that that's
DeMar
a read.
DeMar Hamlin made the call.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yes, DeMar Hamlin made the call to run the fake punt because there were 10 men, and so he made the call at the line. He makes that audible in that situation.
Oh, wow.
Get your smallest guy to run it on 4th and 5 on a fake punt.
On your own 30.
Insane.
It wasn't even
stuff.
close.
Absolutely insane.
It wasn't
like
even close.
when you saw the fake punt, you're like, "Oh, fake punt," and then like literally within that split second, you're like, "There's no way he gets to the first down marker."
I also want to issue this statement. I was out of the room for that play, so like I had it on the TV. I stepped in the kitchen. I think I was making food or something. The announcers have to be louder when it's a fake punt, because I come back into the room and I see the play end and I see the 4th and 5, and I thought that it was a 3rd down play. I thought it was like they had just changed the graphic. They weren't yelling or anything. It just sounded like it was a regular play.
I don't know what down it is, Jim.
If it's a fake punt, I need to be able to know from other rooms that there's I need to rush into that room and hear fake punt, and hear that going on and know that it's a fake punt. That was
who would have done? Al Michaels would have done that correctly on Prime Football Thursday night. Kirk, fake punt to the left. There's Hamlin.
Why doesn't Al Michaels just call golf now?
Or cricket?
Yeah, or
he'd be
call
a
the
great
cricket World Cup.
announcer.
Poker.
Oh, that's good.
Those World Series of poker announcers are electric.
They really are. That's something to watch on TV.
Whoever the analyst is on that, he is on fire. He is great. I love him. Whoever that guy is, he loves his job. I'll just say that. That dude, he's freaking out. It's awesome.
I want to say one more thing about Bills Chiefs. Do you think that the people that are going to shovel out the snow are putting it on their resume?
Oh yes,
I think that's a thing in Buffalo.
But it's going to be worded. It's going to be worded like hired by the Buffalo Bills for stadium renovations or something like that.
Yep, snow management.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I would put that too.
Experience with power tools for an NFL franchise. That's good.
Yeah, or just straight up like, I played for the Bills. Back in January.
I was involved in the Bills organization.
Yeah. Like someone's like, "Oh man, that was such a great draft pick." He's like, "Yeah, we're making that decision back in January."
Yeah, I was around some of the guys that made that call.
Yeah. So stupid.
That's funny.
Lions NFC title game. Imagine saying 2 years ago the Detroit Lions are playing in the NFC title game against the San Francisco 49ers. Lions Bucs 31-23 Lions. This was a fun game. This was a really fun game, and I will get this off immediately. People hate Chris Collinsworth. He was so good in this game. I had to watch with AirPods in. I was in the car having to watch this game, didn't have a choice, and I watched the whole game with AirPods in. So I was having Chris Collinsworth in my ear the whole game. And it was fantastic. It was great. He was on fire. He was calling out plays. He was analyzing plays perfectly. Him and Tirico had great chemistry in that game. So I wanted to put that out there. There's so much hate for these NFL commentators like Romo, Collinsworth, Olsen, or Aikman or whatever. This is a lame, vanilla, boring take. Get your vanilla frosty, but they're all awesome. I think they're all just fantastic.
I agree. A lot of people in my family don't like Joe Buck. I love Joe Buck. Chris Collinsworth, people always complain about him on Twitter. I think he's great.
The only one that stinks is Al Michaels to me.
I don't even hate him that much.
No, and I kind of appreciate it because he's on poopy Amazon Prime games.
Yeah, and I love Kirk Herbstreit too, but he's a college football guy. He's not really an NFL guy. So and him and Al Michaels doing Thursday night. And also with Al Michaels, it's like, what he used to be, and it's very nostalgic and what he used to be on air, and now it's kind of like a step down. So you'll always hold him to that higher standard, I kind of feel like. But when I'm hearing Karter, Chris Collinsworth, ASMR for you to go to sleep now?
Oh, Karter, yeah.
Oh, it's time to hit the hay, Karter. You got an early morning, Karter. I don't know, Karter. 2 hours of sleep might not be enough, Karter.
We got a guy here. That almost sounds like Trump.
Yeah, that was a little Trumpy.
Yeah, hold on now.
We've got a guy here. Yeah, no.
I love Vivek,
great,
love the Indians, the Indian people. I love them.
Dylan Wilkerson sucks at betting overs. Yeah, but anyhow, Bucs Lions. Mike Evans hit. That was awesome.
Yeah, victory lap time. Play of the year. You know, I went back and watched those clips. Dylan's face wasn't very supportive when I was spouting off my Mike Evans views.
No, he was. He was. 100% he was. He
I thought I saw a little skepticism. There, Dylan.
I suggested the over yards, under receptions.
Yeah, I edited that clip. He loved the yards. He loved the yards.
Okay, perfect. Well, Mike Evans' victory lap hit in the first half. Had 97 in the first half. I'm telling you, anybody against this line secondary, doesn't matter who it is, and I'm taking Brandon Ayuk this week. So
yeah, 100%. You have to take Brandon Ayuk. You're gonna try and get cute. You're like, Juwan Jennings, only 29.5 yards. Like, nope, don't overthink it. Brandon Ayuk, 100+ yards. Don't overthink it. He's gonna get the ball.
Ray McLeod can definitely get a 15-yard catch. It's like
what's his name? Is it David or Ronnie Bell on the Niners?
Ronnie Bell,
Ronnie Bell. Yeah, Michigan man. Yeah, Ronnie Bell's gonna get a touchdown somehow.
Ronnie Bell, let me tell you, Karter.
Yeah, but that was not gonna lie. In the second quarter, before that last drive, I think he only had 18 yards before that last drive. I was like, yeah, this is not looking great. And then went off and finished with 97 yards at halftime.
I got to be honest. I wasn't worried about Mike Evans. Even when he had 18 yards with 2 minutes left in the half, I was like, somehow Baker's going to be going to him. One of these drives is going to be all Mike Evans. Sure enough, it was. This was a fun game, though. I'll give you that. It was a nice playoff game as far as wasn't too prominent like powerhouse teams, but it was a fun offensive game. They were moving the ball down the field. Like Karter said, it was good, play-by-play and color commentary right there. I enjoyed it. I had fun watching this game. It wasn't a game to where I was like, Browns, Texans, this is dragging, like on Wild Card weekend. Like, I had fun watching this game every drive. So shout out you, Lions. Shout out you, Buccaneers. Because Baker Mayfield, he getting re-signed this offseason? I don't know. But it was a fun little run.
I hope he does. As a Panthers fan, I pray Baker Mayfield gets signed to a $30 million deal. That would be the best thing to happen to us because that'll make the Bucs terrible for the next 5 years.
So you don't think this was par for the course? Like, you don't think Baker's back and Baker's going to be a consistent playoff guy? Yeah, I agree. Bad division.
This is the Baker Mayfield experience. This encapsulates it perfectly because next year, all offseason, all you're going to hear is Baker is back. Like, this Bucs team, they could win 11, 12 games. Are the Bucs going to be in contention for the 1 seed up next on Get Up? Like, it's going to be crap like that all August. In reality, the Falcons are going to be the most talented team in the NFC South. So they're the team you need to pick to win the NFC South next year. Hopefully, we can get the Bucs favored and get the Falcons at like plus 250, plus 200 range, and because they're going to bring in a good coach, they're going to bring in a Harbaugh, Vrabel, or Belichick. It seems like it's going to be one of those guys. So but the Bucs. They're going to tie up all their money, and they're going to have to tie up money into Baker. That's going to be the difference. They're going to have to lose some guys, whether that be on defense or offense. This team's not going to be as good. And they barely made the playoffs. Like, let's not forget this season. Like, yeah, it was cute. They won that big game. They almost lost the playoffs to the Carolina Panthers in week 18. Like, let's not forget this. They almost lost to one of the worst teams we've seen in recent football memory, the Carolina Panthers. The 2-15 Carolina Panthers, they almost lost to. They could only put up 9 points against.
Please give us
Baker was terrible in that game.
Please give us the Buccaneers as a favorite in the NFC South next year because it's going to be Falcons plus 250. They're going to be like, oh, the Bucs made the playoffs last year. They're going to be minus 150. And all that, and we're still going to bet the Panthers at plus 800. So it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter.
I'll do both. I'll put a lot on the Falcons. I'm going to put a lot of money on the Falcons to win the NFC South. I do, real quick, I know we're talking Lions, Bucs here, and we should be recapping, but side tangent, who's going to be the worst team in the NFL next year if you had to guess?
Ooh. The Giants.
That's a great guess. I would say...
I think the bottom three... I have a sneaky one, but I would say the Saints.
That's a good one. What about the Broncos?
The Saints are like 60 to 70 million over the cap.
That's true.
So it's like they were already pretty meh, and now they're going to have to get rid of guys like Taysom Hill. You know, they're better. They're going to have to get rid of their better players. And
Jameis will be back there, right? Locker room guy.
Also, I need Siri to remind me, and whenever the odds come out, I need Dennis Allen first coach fired odds the second they come out.
I'm saying Seahawks.
Ooh, I don't hate that at all.
That's a good one too. What about Denver?
Is there a sneaky lot of bad teams? I think Denver will be fine.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to be like 10 wins, but I think they'll win 7.
Okay.
But like,
I hear you.
We're already talking about next season.
I know. It's gonna be a long summer. It's gonna be a long summer.
We got we're 8 months away from week 2 NFL football. Just put that in your mind. 8 months.
We'll be here talking about which teams need to trade away their quarterback. Their season's over. Who needs to be moved.
We're going to be talking about Kirk Cousins on a new team.
Mm-hmm.
Falcons. Imagine Belichick and Cousins on the Falcons.
Yep, that's going to be the conversation every week when Cousins inevitably stays with the Vikings. Like, what if he just still went to the Falcons though? And then Zach Wilson comes in because a player got hurt for whatever team he gets traded to, and I'm going to be like, hey, Zach Wilson would not be that bad on the San Francisco 49ers.
If Kirk Cousins goes to Atlanta, Kyle Pitts is an All-Pro. I'll just say that.
Lions Bucs, what a game!
What a game!
It was an awesome game. I don't know if there's really much to it. Like, the Lions were great. They got it done in the red zone when it mattered. Baker's picks were the difference in the game.
Yep.
The 2-point conversion thing, I don't really care. Like, it doesn't really matter.
I think people overthink it. I know, I've seen all the graphs and where it's 50% chance to get it here, and then there's the whole flow chart thing, and then you have a chance to win it at the end, or you tie it up. Then, if you want to go for 2, I feel like you should maybe just take the points, the first touchdown, and then if you score again, go for 2 to win the game.
No, I like going for 2 twice.
Really?
Because the other thing about it is the way the math works out, it is smarter to go for it twice in a row. But not just that. If you include feel for the game, the Bucs were kind of having their way on that drive. And that's when you go for it. You have all that momentum. They were dicing up that defense. I think you go for it. If Mike Evans just pushes back and jumps into the defender, they get the PI call, and it's 35-21, 25-31. And the Bucs, all they have to do is score a touchdown. They win that game.
Yeah, we saw with the Titans when they played the Dolphins. They did it successfully. They scored the 2-point conversion down 14 and made it work. So mathematically, there is a tree out there somewhere that proves that going for 2 the first time is right. But I think it just depends. You have to add context for the team. Can your team convert a 2-point conversion more than 50% of the time? I think that's the question you have to answer.
Yep, 100%. Let's breeze through these Saturday games. 49ers Packers, what an awesome game. Jordan Love is good. That's just what it is. He is good. He is fantastic. Kind of like the Bucs Lions games. His picks were the difference. Those Greenlaw picks were the difference in this game, and that's what it really boiled down to. Are we a little worried that Purdy couldn't do it in cold weather? In rainy weather. It wasn't even cold. It was 57.
Well, he had the glove problems. He couldn't figure out the glove problems, couldn't grip the ball, and also Debo going down. He didn't know what to do without that check down option. They started covering McCaffrey in the flat, and then Debo's not there anymore. He's not the safety valve.
That is worrisome because he didn't win a game this season when Debo was hurt.
Right.
So that is. If you're a Lions fan, you're just please, Debo, please don't play this game. Please.
This sounds terrible, but was there a doubt in y'all's minds, was there a doubt that Debo wasn't going to get hurt on that play? I mean, as soon as he went down, I was like,
it was that first play where Greg Olsen was like, oh no, he just lost his shoe. He's not hobbling. I was like, no, he's hurt. It's the Niners, and I was texting Brian here and there. It's like you guys are just we're cursed. I'm a Niners fan right now, so that's just what it is. I said, Brian, we are a cursed franchise. We can't get anything done. We'll never win a Super Bowl. We sold our soul for the Montana years and Steve Young years. We cannot win a Super Bowl.
I don't know. I think that's probably true. And it just seems like every playoff game, it's something with them. I don't know what it is. It's if there were odds, going into the playoffs, what's the guy that will most likely get injured? Debo's got to be minus 300. McCaffrey's probably minus 150. 2 guys minus odds, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
and it's almost like
right.
I always like bringing the NBA into these episodes. It's like Anthony Davis, where every single fall he takes, maybe not so much this year because he's played almost every game,
Or
but in
Cormac
years
Ryan
past,
at Carolina,
yeah,
Cormac
that
Ryan
ankle's
at Carolina.
turning one way or the other.
Oh, he
every
gets
time he
hurt every
falls.
game. He cries, he whines. Oh, but then
Oh,
he's
there we
back
go.
in after the timeout.
I just hear that some grit. That's all I hear is grit. And the guy who tripped him should be in jail. That's all I hear. But it is. It's like every time Debo falls or gets hit or gets tackled or landed on, you're like holding your breath as a Niners fan.
Oh yeah.
And and he's a great player. And when he's in the open field, he's one of the best players in the league. But man, whenever he gets landed on by one of those linebackers or it's cold weather, you're just like, holy cow.
So I'll do this in a and when we talk about the Niners Lions game, let's do this. Finish off this game real quick. It was just a fun game. It was a stressful game. Even if you're a neutral, like, yes, I have my Niners future, but like, even if you're a neutral, you're like, gosh, this is stressful for both teams. Like, every play was so intense and mattered so much. You didn't know what kind of Purdy you were going to get on these throws. You're like, oh, is he going to throw 5 yards short? Is he going to throw 5 yards over? Oh, is he even going to hit the receiver? Like, it was, and he was so bad in that game until that last drive. That last drive saved Brock Purdy's career right there. If he does not capitalize on that last drive, Brock Purdy is not the starting quarterback for the 49ers next season.
Do you guys chalk any of that up to being off for 3 weeks? Like, in my mind, that's
100%.
where I go, is that they were just off for 3 weeks. Purdy hadn't played a game, and now, towards the end of that game, he kind of got it going.
Yeah, and it didn't help. You're dealing with the injuries, and it's rainy weather in San Francisco for the first time in a year, probably. And so you're like, it was everything going against you on top of the rust and everything. And that's why when we talk about the Niners-Lions game, I love the Niners in that game.
Well, you know what's going to happen. It's Purdy's going to come out this week against this Lions defense and put up 400 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yep.
And everybody's going to, be going back on their takes about Purdy.
Real quick, I don't have much to say about the Ravens-Texans game other than the Ravens dominated. That defense is disgusting. Lamar Jackson is so fun to watch. And C.J. Stroud under pressure might not be that guy.
When you can't run the ball, it's hard to pass the ball.
Hey, he got the Bryce Young treatment for a game, and we saw what happened. Can't even get an offensive touchdown.
And also, the thing is, I talked about this in the preview. For a rookie quarterback like that, to go from playing at home indoors to then going to Baltimore outdoors, freezing cold against that defense,
ESPN.
I really think that's the difference. Yeah, yes, on ESPN. I really think that's the difference. I really do. I mean, Stroud, he was fine, but you knew pretty early on that they were outmatched against the Ravens team. And it was, and of all the games of the weekend, this was probably the least entertaining, if we're being honest. Halfway
through the second quarter, you knew it was over. Every other game was unbelievably entertaining. This one, third quarter, you're like, all right, what else is going on? Like, I'm going to turn on college basketball at Saturday. It was like 28. Yeah. It was like 27-10. It
was a good thing this was the first game. Yeah. I'll say that. Like, you're all excited for divisional round. It's like, oh, here we go. And then get the bad one out of the way first.
It was also Saturday afternoon, so you probably had errands or like, you're watching college basketball or watching something else. Like, there was other stuff going on, so it worked out. Yeah. Let's preview some games. I want to do Niners-Lions first. I know that's the late night game, but I want to do that first because we were just talking about it. The Niners, I believe, are 6.5-point favorites at the moment. Still correct?
7 on a lot of books now.
7. And what's the over-under?
51.
51. Wow. So Niners -7, over under 51 in this game. Dylan, start us off.
The 49, I have both favorites big. Like that, my number makes both favorites big. The worry that I do worry about how Brock Purdy looked last week, especially to start the game. Now, we did talk about how maybe that's just because they had 3 weeks off and figuring things out. That's completely fine. I do think that Goff, we can go ahead and issue this statement. I think Goff might be a bit of a dome merchant. I think he might be a bit of a dome merchant. Yes, because his numbers, dome versus no dome, alarmingly different. And I took a couple notes here. With a dome, playing games with a dome, 264 for 376, 70% completion rate, 24 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and a 109 passer rating. Outdoor games, 124 for 195, 64% completion percentage, 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and 82 rating. And he hasn't even played that great of defenses outside. The best one, Baltimore, Packers, and Chiefs are all top 10 pass defenses, but you also have the Bucs and the Bears who are in the bottom half of the league. So it's not like he's playing a bunch of juggernauts outdoors. I think that's where the difference might be this game. We've seen season long, Goff has struggled playing outside, and I think that the fact that they have to go to Santa Clara, even though the weather's going to be decent, I think it's like 60 and cloudy, Goff has struggled when he hasn't played in Detroit. So I don't have anything officially. I would lean 49ers, but they kind of bit me in the butt last week. So I'm going to stay away. I think I'm going to. I can't root for the Lions because Karter has the 49ers. I'll root for the 49ers. I'll cheer on the 49ers. Maybe Ronnie Bell anytime touchdown.
I'll be devastated. I'll be upset if my Niners future doesn't cash, but I'll be happy for Lions fans. I will.
But the Lions have played the Rams and the Bucs to get to the point that they're at. And I know I personally published this sentiment that I think the Lions might be a little bit fraudish. The Lions have had a cakewalk of a schedule to get to the NFC Championship. Yes, who's had it easier?
Well,
nobody's had it easier in these playoffs. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, but does that matter?
Yes, it does.
So
in terms of talking about this game right now, yeah, it does. Because I think you know what? I'm taking the 49ers. I think they blow the Lions out of the water. And I'm going to come on this show, and I'm going to start saying that the Lions were frauds this year, because I mean, we can go back and look at their record against winning teams this year. Their path, they haven't had to play a 10-win team to get to the NFC Championship game.
Okay, but what was the record against winning teams?
I don't know off the top of my head. But at one point, it was similar to the Dolphins.
The Dolphins won one game against a winning team.
The Lions are pretty close.
Yeah, they had that week 1 win against Kansas City without Chris Jones and all that.
I guess the Broncos became a winning team, so I guess the Dolphins would have had 2 by the end of the season. Did the Broncos?
It's a sliding scale we're dealing with.
Broncos 8-9 or 9-8.
I think 8-9.
Oh, so
one
one
win against playoff teams.
But you say the Dolphins aren't frauds, but the Lions are. It doesn't make any sense.
Dolphins product of their situation with the weather, and I think we're going to see the same. We might see the same thing here. We might. I'm just saying. Dolphins have to play the Bills twice a year. The Lions get to play the Packers.
The Lions
they
get
get
to play
the Bears. They get to play the Vikings.
The Vikings twice a year. The Bears twice a year.
The Packers weren't anything special either. They made it as far as they did. Sure, Jordan Love's a great quarterback, but they were 9-10 win team.
Yeah, but let's also talk about the fact that the Dolphins get to play the Jets and the Pats twice a year.
Jets, great defense.
And also you can't be like, well, the Dolphins have to play the Bills twice a year when they lost to them both times and got destroyed by them one of those times.
They got to play them.
Yeah, but you still lost to them by a lot.
But who are the Lions playing that are on pace with the Bills? Nobody in their division. They played
the Ravens.
Once. Nobody in their division.
They played the Chiefs.
Why does that matter?
And what happened when they played the Ravens?
It doesn't matter. It does not matter, though, because they beat those teams in the division.
You said Ravens. You said Ravens. What happened when they played the Ravens?
Okay, they lost. But also,
big time.
You can't say the Dolphins are all of a sudden better because they lost too.
Who are you favoring on a neutral field?
The Lions.
Oh my, yeah, and that's where the conversation stops, because that's right at all.
No. Time like the Miami Dolphins right now versus the Lions right now. I would take the Lions because of the Dolphins defense.
The Lions defense is that much better?
No, but the Dolphins have too many injuries on their defense right now.
Yeah, that's wrong. That's all I can say. That's wrong.
How was that wrong? They have too many injuries on their defense. Now, the other issue is, okay, Tua would probably destroy that secondary with Tyreek Hill. I agree with that, but you can't call this team fraudish. They're a fraud because they're in the NFC title game. Like, they did it. They've beaten everybody in their path. If the Dolphins weren't,
sure, they beat everybody. I'm not arguing that. I'm arguing their path was easy.
But you said the Lions were frauds.
Yes.
They're not. They are in the NFC Championship game.
The Lions are frauds if they lose by 20 plus this week. That's the argument. I'm not saying right now I can call them frauds. If they lose by 20 plus, then they're frauds.
That's fair. Okay, I get that.
We got there.
That's fair. Yeah, all right.
Dylan,
I can agree.
It's like the college football map where Dylan made the map. We're all like claiming 5-star conferences. Dylan's going around on the NFL map, pissing off fan bases. So Houston, check. Philadelphia, check. Detroit, question mark.
I also don't think they're total frauds because I don't think anybody genuinely believes they're going to win the Super Bowl. So therefore, this feels like what their ceiling was supposed to be, and I feel like they hit it. And now, if they win this game somehow, then I think they go way above everything. But like, it felt like their ceiling was the NFC Championship game. Am I wrong?
Well, go back to the last week of the season last year when they beat Aaron Rodgers and the Packers and kept them out of the playoffs, and everybody was like, "Oh, the Lions, they're going to be the darlings next year," and that's everybody's team they were high on. At that moment, what would you say their ceiling was? If I told you they would be in an NFC title game, I would be like, that is a resounding success for a team that missed the playoffs last year and has had a history of losing like the Lions have.
If the Lions lose this game, no matter whatever, this is a great season. This is a 10 this is a 9.8 out of 10 season. The only way you get a 10 out of 10 is you win the Super Bowl. But like, it probably doesn't get much better if you're a Lions fan. You won your division. You got to play 2 home playoff games. You won both of those home playoff games. You made the NFC title game. Like, it doesn't get much better. But I think Dylan's also right. The fact that they lose by 20, and it shows they're not even on the same field as the Niners. I agree with him there.
I'm going through Lions schedule right now.
Oh, no.
I will come prepared next show with Miami versus Detroit fraud off allegations.
Okay.
Is next show Super Bowl, or are we going to do a recap?
Well, we got 2 weeks before Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I feel like
whenever you want it, I'll have it ready.
Yeah.
We'll discuss after the show. We'll discuss that.
We can be like we'll do it like a lawsuit. I'll be the judge. You guys can both make your case.
To answer your question about the Lions ceiling, had you have told me that they're going to play the 9-8 Buccaneers and the 9-8 Rams to get to the NFC Championship game, then yeah, I would say that maybe that's their ceiling because that's a pretty easy path.
But I also don't think the Rams are. It's tough to say like, oh, but they beat the Rams are a good team.
They got hot at the right time. Stafford didn't turn over the ball the last half of the season. That's what happened. That's not par for the course.
I don't think the Rams aren't the same 9-8 as like the Broncos. I would say, like, I don't think those are like they're on par together. Like, yeah, the Rams got hot, but they've got the championship pedigree. They got the weapons. They are just a better team than a lot of these 500 teams. So I don't think you can just say, oh, a 500 team.
And did they lose that? They lost that last. Did they win that last game of the season against the Niners?
Who, Carson Wentz? They did win, I think. They did win. Yeah.
I can tell you.
Were they not 9-8? I can't remember. I think they did win because I had Carson Wentz anytime touchdown in that game.
21-1.
Oh, wow. Man, another 8 months before we can bet backup quarterbacks to score.
I know. Sad time. But anyhow, talking about this game real quick, yeah, I'll get this out there. I know Dylan and I are going back and forth the lines. I'm taking the Niners -6, 6.5, 7, whatever it's at. Just give me the Niners. I think the Niners win this game. I think Brock Purdy, it's going to be good weather. I think Ayuk has a big day. I think we already talked about that. I think Ayuk goes for 100+ yards. I think McCaffrey even has a big game. He's going to have so many receptions in this game. McCaffrey checkdowns are going to be there all the time. They're going to dominate this game. You look at the line of scrimmage on both sides, and that's where the Lions really like to dominate a game, the run defense and their offensive line. I think the Niners are just as good in every aspect, and they're better. They have a better secondary, and they have a better offense.
The Niners burned us last week with the 9.5 against the Packers, but to be fair, I didn't know
Greenlaw tried.
He did try. I didn't know it was going to piss rain. I didn't know Debo would get hurt, or maybe I did, but the 9.5 burned us. This is a week where you just burn the tape. You say, you know what? Packers played very well and almost beat them, but the Niners moved on. Let's not read too much into what happened against Green Bay. Let's say, hey, the Niners were 9.5 favorites against Green Bay, and that drops to 6.5 against Detroit. I mean, I would damn near make Detroit more of an underdog than Green Bay against this Niners team at this point in the year. I know they made it to the championship. I'm not calling them frauds, but this Detroit defense, especially the pass defense, this is a game where Purdy's going to come out and absolutely dice them up. It's going to be a Kyle Shanahan masterclass to where there's going to be plays across the middle, dump off, screen passes, into the flats, George Kittle curls for 15 yards. I think Purdy has a great game, and I'm taking the Niners -6.5, -7, whatever it is. I'll lay the points again with them. I'm burning the tape from last week. The Niners are a much better team than Detroit, and for what it's worth, Detroit's been fine this year. They did have an easier path to get here.
They did. 100%. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying they won their games in that path.
They did.
It's like saying Carolina's 2022 Final Four run was fraudulent because they had the easiest path of all time.
Well, and the easiest Final Four game of all time against that fraud off team and Royal Blue.
Still, yeah. You don't have to. The only one seed you play against. They didn't have their best player.
Yeah,
you get to play a 15 seed in the Elite Eight. Like that's what I'm saying.
Well, it hurts when you play 8-on-5 every game, but
Lions 3 wins against teams over 500. 2 of them were 9-8.
Whoa, time out. Are you saying the refs aren't in Carolina's favor every game?
That run to the Final Four in 2022.
Shut the hell up.
Against Baylor? That Baylor game? Did you watch that Baylor game?
I did one game. It was that Baylor game. And also, you guys were acting like little wusses. Oh, stop that. You guys were Charmin ultra soft out.
Oh, please. If that was Duke, this podcast would end.
If we could be here all day talking about Duke missed calls. I don't want to hear it. Jeremy Roach got fouled. RJ Davis did not get fouled on that last 3 in the Final Four game. That's bullcrap. I don't know. No, that we could go all day with this call. Carolina, Dean Smith paid off ACC refs forever. My grandpa's up in heaven right now cursing Dean Smith's name as we speak. F Carolina. Anyhow, I love the Niners here. I do love the Niners here, and IU props. We've said it 1,000 times. Is there a world the Lions win this game?
Yeah.
It would take a Purdy meltdown for the Lions to win this game. It would be like 3 picks, a bunch of turnovers, and Jared Goff just like, I don't even know, being perfect. Like, I think there is a scenario, but it's very slim. I think the margins are very slim for a Lions win.
See, I don't even think it's that unlikely. I think if Aiden Hutchinson can make the day rough for Purdy, I don't think it's that crazy to think that the Lions could win.
My issue is I think we're underestimating how good Jordan Love was in that game on Saturday. Because some of those throws were stupid. I mean, back foot, sidearm throws. Jared Goff is not making those throws. He's not. And those throws were ridiculous by Jordan Love. And Goff is, like I said, Goff is not making those throws. I don't know. It's really tough for me. I'm going to be very happy for Lions fans if they win. I will. I am going to be taking the Niners, though, in this game. I think that's how it's got to be. Is there anything else in this game? Move on to the last game.
I just don't think you should, and this kind of transitions into the last game, I don't think you should bet a favorite in the playoffs if you don't think they can win. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
What?
Like, if you don't think they have a chance to win, you shouldn't bet them to cover. An underdog.
Wait, a favorite?
Sorry, an underdog.
Okay.
Sorry.
I was like, wait.
Like, if you don't think an underdog actually has a chance to win, don't bet them on the spread. Like, don't be like, oh, they can cover, but they're not going to win. Like, I feel like in the playoffs, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I guess. I mean, Steelers plus 10. It's like they're close. They were close. I knew they weren't going to win that game, but like
I couldn't. Yeah, shout out to Parlay that week.
yeah. Dylan. All right, Chiefs Ravens. Ravens minus 3.5 in Baltimore. Over under 44.5. Connor, what's the play here? You get Mahomes as an underdog. He's now 9-1-1 as an underdog against the spread. He's dominant in the playoffs. It's Mahomes, March. He owns these 2 months of the year. What's the play here?
Now's the time to zag. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Now's the time to zag because everybody's going to be like, oh, Mahomes. Because I was on it last week too. I was like, Chiefs. Mahomes is an underdog. Give me the Chiefs. And they won. They beat the Bills. They beat Josh Allen. Once again, advanced to the AFC title game. I think this is the week to zag because everybody's going to be, oh, the Chiefs an underdog again? Like, that's free money. Chiefs money line is included in 94% of parlays. Chiefs spread is the most bet on spread of the weekend. Blah, 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 this and that. I think if you can get the Ravens at 3, I think you do it. I think this Baltimore defense is playing so well right now. They just dominated Stroud in Houston. It wasn't a strenuous game. It was 34-10, so it wasn't like a back-and-forth affair, dogfight. This Chiefs-Bills game was a complete rock fight. I mean, it was back and forth, huge plays, huge hits, huge tackles, guys limping off the field every other down. I think the Ravens are more rested, and the defense is playing at a level right now where I trust them more. And I think Lamar, again, as good as this Chiefs defense has been, I think Lamar figured something out on the ground last week like we thought, and I think he's going to do it again this week. And if you can get the Ravens at 3, you take them. I think the Ravens win this game. I think it'll be close, but I think the Ravens come out because the narrative is going to be Mahomes, and now's when you zag.
It is. No, Dylan, no.
I don't know. I just can't doubt the Chiefs' magic in January. As silly as it sounds, I'm a numbers guy. I don't really go with vibes. But this team has proven again and again that they get it done late in the season. And I don't know why I would doubt that. I understand the Ravens are a very good team, but I think, and this isn't just us, but I think everybody gets in their mind that these 1-seed teams are invincible, that they can't lose. And you have to think back to times in the season, the 49ers had that little 3-game skid. Granted, it was without Debo. The Ravens, they had games where they didn't look great. I think they lost to the Steelers the first time they played, if I remember correctly, early in the season.
Did.
I might be. Yeah, so like there's
Colts, Steelers. Yeah.
There are times where these teams, you think they're invincible when they're not. And I guess that you could say that I'm guilty of doing the same thing with the Chiefs, but the Chiefs in January, man, it's really tough to doubt them. I will say all that being said, I'm not taking a side. I think it's going to be a very good game. Mahomes, when he has less than 2.5 seconds to pass, 75% completion rating, obviously shorter passes usually, almost 100 passer rating. When he has more than 2.5 seconds in the pocket, 58% completion rate, his passer rating drops all the way down to 83. What I think this game script sets up for the Chiefs, I don't think it's going to be shots down the field. The Ravens, if they have one thing they do poorly defensively, their tackling rating on PFF is in the bottom half of the league. So I think it's going to be a lot of quick screens, a lot of quick passes, and let your receivers, let Pacheco tally up the yards after catch. So because of that, I'm going to take the under. I think the clock is going to be ticking. I think the short passes, you're not going to have a lot of incompletions down the field. I think that it's not going to be a lot of chunk plays. I like the under here. 2 great defenses, and we usually can't say that about the Chiefs. So under 45.
A lot of screen passes and stuff. Does that mean McCole Hardman gets the ball 5 times this game again? Because if that's the case, I'm taking the Ravens defense anytime touchdown.
There you go. Yeah. That's smart.
Yeah, I want to take the Ravens so bad. Everything in my mind tells me take the Ravens. They have the better defense. They're just that defense is going to dominate. Like Connor said, the Chiefs were limping off every other play in that Bills game. They're going to be exhausted. Ravens had 3 weeks off, and they came out with 0 rest against the Texans. Dominated. It's in Baltimore. I physically cannot take the Ravens. I cannot bet against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. I will not take a side in this game. I have my Chiefs future. Gonna let that ride. I'm not gonna do it. Not gonna take anything. I'm gonna be responsible here. And now before kickoff, if someone says, "Hey, Isaiah Pacheco first touchdown plus 800," now we're talking.
I do have to ask. Do you guys just take like 6 touchdown scorers every game? Because that last weekend, I was not checking my phone. I would get constant messages, cash about plays that I never even heard of.
Yeah, let's see here. So let's do Lions Bucs, for example. I had Mike Evans. I had Amon-Ra St. Brown. I had David Montgomery, L. And then I took Jahmyr Gibbs on the live at halftime.
See, I had none.
So that was awesome. That was great. Then, especially when I think a game's going to be higher scoring, I'll do that. But I won't do it for like Ravens Texans. I think all I had was Edwards and Lamar. I was like,
I had
one
Lamar.
of those. They were both plus odds. I was like, one of those guys is going to get in, and I took Lamar 2 touchdowns, so that worked out.
And it's like we finally hit our first touchdown. George Kittle, or I had George Kittle finally in the Niners game after all these. Yeah. No, I don't usually take a lot of anytime touchdown plays. If I get like a sweat-free, risk-free bet from one of these books, I'll be like, Evans and St. Brown to score and both have 100 yards for like a $10 risk-free, get your money back bet. I'll do that, but I don't usually bet a lot of straight touchdown scores.
Pacheco, last leg of a parlay. Kelsey.
Now Karter gets this free play. And that's a whole new ball game. Karter gets this free play. You don't know what you're going to get.
You never know what's going to happen next. But yeah, I dabble. That's all I'll say. I'll dabble.
I'll dabble.
Words. I dabble.
I'll dabble.
Next thing you know, you're laying in a back alley with white powder under your nose. I dabble.
Oh my god!
Jeez.
Famous last
I'll
words,
tell you what,
Carter.
Dylan. That was a little
Famous
controversial.
No, we all know the famous last words. How does that not hit, though?
How does that not? Yeah, you're right.
Hey, we're sponsored now. Print the shirts. Sponsored by
there you
SeatGeeks. Print the How Does That Not Hit shirts.
Yeah, use code How Does That Not Hit, though, for $20 off your first tickets. But yeah, Chiefs Ravens. I can't go against Mahomes. You cannot go against Mahomes in January. It's impossible. He doesn't lose these games.
Eventually,
he did once. He did once.
But I mean, eventually, does he?
I guess
9-1-1.
Yeah, it's tough. It is tough because the number one thing in NFL is betting against Mahomes in the playoffs. Like that's the number one bet where you're just like, I feel terrible about this. Of all the bets you make, all the spreads, money lines, props, it's like I'm betting against Mahomes in January. You know, it's gonna be an ass clincher all game. So this is the number one.
Look, I know people like to beat this down as a dead horse, whatever you want to say. They're going to make Lamar throw. They're going to make they're going to make sure Lamar can't use his legs in this game and make him throw the ball. And
you don't trust him.
I don't know if I do because this would be the first time he's done it. This would be the first time he's proven, I can throw the ball in the playoffs. I can do this. I can complete the big pass when it matters because his passing accuracy, if you watch that Texans game, I don't know what the stats say. I wasn't impressed by his passing game. I was 100. It was all his legs. His legs dominated that game. I mean, he was running all over the Texans. He scored 2 touchdowns. He was dicing them up on the ground. Yes, in the second half, it died down. He was able to get it to Isaiah Likely for a touchdown. You know, he was wide open. But like when it's 3rd and 10 and Lamar has to throw the ball, are you in the least bit confident?
No.
I'm more confident now than I used to be.
Yeah.
That's fair, but I'm still not confident. But Patrick Mahomes 3rd and 10, because there's going to be a lot of these 3rd downs. Got to convert. Got to throw the ball in these 3rd downs, 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 7s. This is what it's going to be in an unders game, a low-scoring defensive game like this. I trust Mahomes to get it done on 3rd down more than I do Lamar. Now, 3rd and short, different story. If it's 3rd and 2, I'm probably going to back Lamar there because Lamar's legs open up a whole new world. But 3rd and long, I don't know if I trust Lamar.
To be fair, Mahomes scrambling in the playoffs is a whole different ballgame. I will say that. Also, last thing I want to say about this game, Mark Andrews anytime touchdown plus 210 will be getting played.
Stop that. Now I have to.
It will be getting played. It'll be getting played.
Because everyone's going to take Isaiah Likely because all the betting accounts lately have been like, Isaiah Likely scored 7 touchdowns in his last 6 games. And then now you take Mark Andrews, you get a nice little cash payback for all those times we lost. Probably lost 40 units on Mark Andrews anytime touchdown. That's okay.
Yeah.
41's not going to hurt anybody.
Yeah, exactly. It's fine. We had a decent week last week. Parlay?
Yeah, let's do a parlay right now. Oh, wait. Before, we got to do this. Score predictions for Ravens Chiefs. Dylan, go.
17-14 Chiefs.
Connor.
20-17 Ravens. Game-winning field goal.
21-20 Chiefs.
Okay.
21-20 Chiefs.
Close one.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Parlay, do we want to go high odds or do you want to go, a little more safer odds?
I've got my pick.
Go ahead.
Dylan, you go first. This dictates what it is. Yeah.
Ronnie Bell, anytime touchdown scorer.
No.
He's 7-1. We took Jordan Love 11-1 last week.
Yeah, but
Jordan Love's on the field every snap.
Bell's the 4th, 5th string wide receiver for them.
All right, give me Chiefs Ravens under. Yeah.
Oh.
We got to hit one before the season ends.
Oh, I kind of wanted a high odds one, but I didn't want Ronnie Bell. Okay, timeout. But what if the Niners are dominating and Sam Darnold comes in?
Okay.
And throws a touchdown to Ronnie Bell because Ronnie Bell's going to be playing.
I hate that. I'm going to be honest.
I hate it too. I hate it so much.
I hate that.
Come on, Dylan. Give us another pick.
Mahomes under passing yards.
Oh my gosh!
What do you want from me? That's going to be minus 120.
I want a fun play, a fun semi-realistic play.
Ravens anytime touchdown. Defense.
These suck.
You're putting me in a box, buddy. You're telling me to roam free, but then you're putting a fence around me.
It's like you're going to McDonald's and you're like, let's go. We're going to get a fry. We're going to get McDoubles. No, they just get you a bunch of fish fillets.
You guys said the same thing about Oliver.
And I said the same thing about Jordan Love.
Jordan Love was free money. I don't care what you say. It was rigged.
We got that stolen from us.
What are we doing here?
Ronnie Bell.
What's the move? All right,
Ronnie Bell.
Sure.
That ruins my pick.
Yeah, it does.
Ayuk 2 touchdowns.
2?
High scoring game.
We're just pissing away money. Nobody bet this. This is brutal.
What's yours, Connor?
Rashad Bateman anytime touchdown. 5-1.
Is Dylan sabotaging the parlay on purpose because he hates parlays?
Ronnie Bell has 3 touchdowns this year.
Yeah, who
but they were garbage time and receivers were out.
Yeah,
Giants, Ravens, Rams.
Okay. Ravens was because Sam Darnold came in the game.
Okay.
Rams was also the backup fest.
Rams was also backups. And what was the Giants? I don't know what happened in that game.
They were probably about 50.
No, maybe they were. I don't remember.
Ronnie Bell.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
Rams was 21-20.
All right, I'll switch my pick real quick then. Give me. You know what? Screw it. Just give me Ayuk first touchdown as the parlay pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Parlay this week. Ayuk first touchdown. Ronnie Bell anytime touchdown. Rashad Bateman anytime touchdown.
Don't bet it.
Please just give your money to the Salvation Army or Goodwill. Don't
go buy tickets at SeatGeek.
Yes.
There we go. That's a great way to close this show. Great way to close this show. That's going to do it from us. Use code CarterCast at SeatGeek. Download SeatGeek in the App Store or online. Just go on the website, SeatGeek.com. Get $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek today. Use code CarterCast, KARTERKAST. $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. That'll do it from us. We'll be back, Connor, NBA. I'll be back, college basketball. We may be doing a recap show next week. We might have to do a brief recap. Like a 20-minute pod. Like a cute 20-minute pod. Do a real recap.
Get your CarterCast fix in. Just a taste.
And then we we'll do 20 minutes and then we'll dabble in a little bit of Super Bowl plays, a little Super Bowl plays for like 5 minutes. For 5 minutes. And then we'll be back for the Super Bowl preview. And we'll make sure someone else is on here. We'll make sure it's at least a 4-man crew for Super Bowl props and everything that. So we'll be back then. Stay tuned for that. Subscribe on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever you're listening, at CarterCast on all social media, at Connor_Sparrow, at Wilkerson A. Dillon, at Carter B8. That'll do it from us. We'll see y'all next time.